Hey everyone, my name is Andy and with me I have Quinn, who is a marine fish expert here in the Phoenix area. And we're here to talk to you a little bit about a new food for fish that we like to call stikiStik. So Quinn, tell us a little bit more about that.
So as the name implies, stikiStik is a sticky food mixture. It's a simple mixture that anyone can make at home with a powder we provide you. You freshly mix it with the powder ratio and RODI water. Ideally you can use tap water or you can use aquarium water, but if you use aquarium water it's not going to mix to the proper consistency, so that's why RODI water is the best.
Okay, so what are some benefits of this food that set it apart from other food that you can buy on, online or in stores or stuff like that right now?
So that's a great question. As I said earlier, one of the main benefits of it is you're freshly mixing it at home from our powder source. Because you're freshly mixing it, you can use it at any ratio you desire, so you can mix a lot of food or a little food, which allows you to easily control the portions. It doesn't pollute the water, and it's going to stay intact. And one of my favorite things about it is because of that, it feeds finicky specimens. We've done a lot of experience with feeding the Moorish idol. A lot of you reefers know that the Moorish idol is one of the most coveted fishes in the reef system, and the reason a lot of people don't have it, is because we have a hard time feeding them and getting them to eat consistently. That fish doesn't take very well to frozen foods that float from the surface or anything that dissipates, so having a food that we can place on a rock and let it pick at its own pace is really important. Alright Andy, so we've got the stikiStik right here. It'll come in a package like this. We'll just open it up. And for demonstration purposes, we're going to do 2 scoops of the powder with 1 scoop of water. When you're mixing the food, you'll go at your own desired ratio. You just want to make sure that you stick to a 2-part powder to 1 part water. It also works best if you mix the water in slowly over time, instead of doing all the water in first, otherwise you might not get the ratio you're looking for. But again, this is RODI water right here. And you just start kneading and working it. We'll add a little more water. This green color comes in from all the algae that have been added into it. Spirulina, a good natural color enhancer and a good source of veggies for your omnivorous fish like your tangs, your butterflies. As you can see, it's changed from the powder to this liquid paste, and you just got to keep working it in.
That looks great. Okay, so now we're at the 1,000-gallon tank again, and what we're going to do next is Quinn is going to place the stikiStik inside the tank so everyone can see how it attaches and the reaction of the fish to it. So Quinn, go ahead and do that. So as you can see, it sticks up to the inside really well, and within just a minute here, the fish are going to start coming for it. As you can see, they're already coming here.
You can see with the fish interested, we've got a variety of fish in here. There's angelfish, tangs, triggers, clownfish, all readily eating this food.
And they're all seeing now that there's something going on, and
You can see how they just pick at it instead of having to chase it across the tank as it floats. It's not breaking down or falling apart. It's not polluting the water and making the water cloudy.
and even with all these fish attacking it, it's sticking right up to the tank, not going anywhere, providing a nice feeding base for everyone. And what we're going to do is we're going to put another stikiStik a little bit below that to just show a little bit more effect of the food and the reaction of the fish to it. So you can see as soon as Quinn put that food there, immediately fish started coming for it. And the first portion right here, there's still a significant amount of food left after a few minutes of it being in the tank now, so that really goes to show that it does last and it's a gradual feeding for the fish.
And as you can see, we have a whole different variety of species that are eating the food. We have tangs, which are omnivorous. We have carnivorous triggerfish. We have clownfish. There's angelfish in here that are all relentlessly picking at the food. There isn't a single fish in the tank that is disinterested in the food. And one, as you can see, the one we put lower is already gone. The one we put in initially is still maintained its structural integrity. It hasn't broken down or fallen apart yet. And really, if the fish didn't eat it, you could leave it in there, and they could pick on it throughout the whole day. It wouldn't fall apart.
So Quinn, as we observe these fish eating, everything is still intact after more than 6 minutes. What is it that actually makes the stikiStik stay intact like that?
So there's a binder that was inside the food, and it reacts with water, and it has another reaction with the sodium and the magnesium in the salt water. And so once it hits the salt water, it initially starts to harden. And as the fish consume it, that binding agent then that's being inside of the paste still, as it gets exposed to the salt water, rehardens. So as the fish are consuming it, it's getting more contact time with the binding agent, and it's just staying together.
So is this a product that's only ideal for saltwater tank, or can people with freshwater tanks use it as well?
I actually have a lot of experience using it in freshwater. I fed a variety of freshwater fish, including silver dollars, plecostomus, angelfish, tetras. There hasn't really been a species of fish yet that seems to not like the food, whether it's a tropical fish or a marine animal.
So really it's applicable for every fish, for every
fish, for every aquarium, for every household. Anyone can get a use out of it. Invertebrates are easing it if you're a shrimp tank. If you don't have corals, will eat it. You know, you don't have to feed it to just food, but for fish food.
Now we applied it to the tank, inside of the tank here. Would the reaction be any different if it was on the rocks or on the coral or anything like that?
Yes, now due to the accessibility, it's a really large aquarium and it's kind of hard to get down into the rocks, but the fish will actually respond better if you put the food on the rocks versus putting it on the glass. Fish naturally graze from the rocks when in the reef environment. They'll just pick on the rocks all day. Imagine them as underwater cattle just grazing throughout the day. And if you put a nice little blob of the food on a piece of rock, the fish are just going to swim by it and pick on it throughout the day. It gives them a nice natural feeding environment, just like they're back in the ocean. There's 50 or more fish in this aquarium. They're all living in harmony, and one of the main secrets to that is feeding them properly. This is a Heniochus butterfly. We got a blonde naso tang down here, sohal tang, blue tangs. A lot of people recognize dory.
So when you said feeding them in harmony, meaning that they get along better, they seem to be getting along great with this food, don't you think?
Yeah, now the main thing with when you have a large-scale aquarium like this is making sure that you're adequately meeting the nutrients of all the fish. And it can be really expensive to do when you're having to give multiple different types of diets to the specific fish. So that's why it's nice to have this all-in-one food that doesn't really have a fish that it can't satiate. There's omnivorous fish in here, there's predator fish in here, there's vegetarian fish in here, and they all can get from the same food sources.